Chapter 26. The apocalypse has begun.
Back in the San Francisco hotel lounge, everyone was shocked by the revelations that they were hearing. It was a mystified game changer who broke their silence by saying worriedly,
"Well, that explains it all, doesn't it? We are characters in this book based on famous movie stars who exist outside of this book, who are now acting as if they are us, both inside and outside of this book. Yet we really don't know if there is a reality outside of this book, because we are only viewing it from within the pages of this book."
They all nervously laughed, as he then added, sounding even more baffled.
"If millions of people have been written into this book, not only as readers of this book, but also as fans of the movie, how do they even know that they truly exist outside of this book? They might just be figments of storytellers' imagination and are only real within the story. Even more incredible is how do we even know if the famous actors who are playing our characters are real, because we are only perceiving them from the inside of this book, and for that matter, how can we be sure that the movie launch we have just been watching is real, because that also is just a part of the story written into this book?"
They all nodded apprehensively in agreement and turned their attention nervously back to the TV, in hope that the answer to their questions would be answered by Storyteller. A very perplexed TV studio audience were also looking worried, as Odessa said to Storyteller,
We have just shown all of our television viewers a segment of the movie, where Game Changer is questioning what is real and what is not, and I must admit that I still keep questioning myself at times as to whether I am actually talking to you for real, or are we just having this conversation in your book?
Storyteller smiled as he said,
Welcome to the mind challenges of the greatest game of all, and it is good to know that yourself and millions of people from all around the world are beginning to question their perception of reality, because this is exactly what the illumined ones have set out to achieve through this book. We must always remember that we live in a mental universe, and it is important for us to break out from the delusion of our minds to a more expanded perception of reality. What I'm about to say may shock billions of people, but the truth of life has been hidden by our human minds for thousands of years, except for those of the great masters, who not only discovered the secrets of the game of life, but who also used this knowledge to transform themselves into the power of who they truly are.
He paused just for a moment to reinforce the importance of what he was about to reveal, and then said with great passion,
This may be difficult for many people to accept, but we are actually God. Everyone and everything is God, because nothing else exists but God. The ancient definition for the word God is that which is.
The world was stunned into silence, and he then continued his story.
The all is all there ever is, all there ever was, and all there can ever be. As God, we have been playing a game of evolution for billions of years in a universe of illusion that we have helped create. As our game characters, we have been evolving from primitive organisms and moving up through the various levels of plant and animal life. Since the beginning of time, the major evolutionary difference that exists between plants, animals, and humans is that we have now developed a rational thinking mind. Over the last few thousand years, great masters and prophets have revealed to us that we are comprised of mind, body, and soul, and that to evolve to higher levels in the game of life, we must learn to see beyond the limitations of our illusionary world, to know the all who is within us all. Jesus had wisely said, Your minds must be cleared of the falsehoods of this realm if you are to be taught eternal truth. As evolved human beings, we have a body to experience the physical joys of life in our illusionary game world, and most importantly, an identity mind to create and protect the delusion of our individual game characters and perceived reality. If we shut down our mind, our illusionary world would no longer exist, and all that we would be aware of would be the blissfulness and magnificence of being our soul, which is the all. The divine and infinite living mind, referred to by the illumined ones as spirit.
Are you saying that our identities and universe are not real, and only a creation within the imagination of the all, or should I say within the imagination of us?
A shocked Odessa asked, even though she was visibly enthralled with his explanation of life.
Yes and no.
He replied with a chuckle.
Our game characters appear real within our illusionary world, but don't forget that we can change who we perceive ourselves to be at any time. So both answers are correct, because what appears to be real is not. Our perception of life can also change at any moment of time, and so our perception of reality is always changing. But for all intents and purposes, the experiences of our lives in this dimension are very real. You may recall the gamers who lost their lives because of the fear they experienced when playing the greatest game on Earth. Wouldn't you say that their game was real for them?
So, the characters in your book are real then?
She asked, and he replied with a smile.
as real as you and I.
Odessa was quick to respond by saying humorously,
Well, that doesn't tell us much.
and once again the world broke into laughter, which helped lighten their concerns and confusion that they were all feeling. Storyteller joined in with their laughter and then said compassionately,
I understand that this is challenging our minds, but it is essential that we all expand our consciousness if we are to have any hope of changing our world. The great theoretical physicist Albert Einstein, who developed the theory of relativity, said, No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it. We shall require a substantially new manner of thinking if mankind is to survive. Another one of his quotes relevant to the problems we face today is, The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. At this stage of evolution for humankind, it is important for us to acknowledge, albeit with a limited understanding of our mortal thinking, that our minds project an illusionary world of evolution, consisting of very many different planes of life, and as soon as we are born into a new body, this illusion becomes real. The illumined ones have used the story in my book to help expand our minds to new perceptions so that we can advance to the next level of superhuman, by replacing many of our misinterpreted beliefs from religious mythology with the truth of life.
He paused momentarily and then expressed more intently,
You have questioned whether you are real outside of my book, but the truth is, we are all inside the greatest and grandest book of all, which is the book of life. As in my book, new chapters are being continually added by our mind identities to that book of life, but the most important chapter for our civilization is the next one that is yet to be written, which will change the destiny of humankind for the better or for worse.
An eerie silence settled upon the studio audience, along with the millions of TV viewers, book readers, and cinema goers, who now waited with bated breath for his next words, and all were shocked and distressed when he announced with gravity in his voice,
The apocalypse has just begun.
The world was stunned, because for many, the meaning of apocalypse was that of a great environmental disaster that brought the world to an end, while for others, it meant God destroying the ruling powers of evil and raising the righteous to life in a messianic kingdom. Either way, it was frightening, because people immediately began questioning themselves, whether they would be considered good and righteous, or would they be judged evil. Odessa immediately looked to Storyteller for reassurance, because she sensed the fear that permeated the minds of everyone, and so she asked compassionately on their behalf,
What does this mean for us and our world?
It is not necessary for people to get too alarmed just yet,
he said consolingly.
because there will never be a war where God battles to overcome evil, because the all would never interfere with our world. The revelation is not entirely wrong, though, because there will be a battle within our minds, where love will have to overcome our fears if we are to stop our civilization destroying our world.
On a more positive note, he said optimistically,
The word apocalypse has another meaning apart from end of the world, and that is to reveal. This is exactly what the illumined ones are doing right now, revealing the hidden secrets that can help us to create a paradise on earth by showing us it is imperative that we unite together with love, not only for each other, but most importantly for our planet, if we are to achieve that outcome. If we were to destroy our world, the consequences would be far and beyond what any of us could ever imagine. Advanced civilizations are looking upon us right now to see if we are evolved enough to use this knowledge to help change the way we think about life. I truly believe we are ready, but only time will tell.
Odessa sensed Storyteller was holding something back, and so she asked,
If we knew the consequences of us destroying our world, would it make us even more determined to change?
and he replied,
Most definitely, because it would frighten and shock everyone.
Then shock us.
she challenged.
Because this may be just what we need, to open our minds to a new beginning.
Millions of people could then be heard applauding her words, because they too wanted Storyteller to reveal the knowledge that would inspire their world to change.
Okay, if you think you are ready,
He replied,
I will first start by explaining why we have reached this point in time where our very existence is being threatened. It is estimated that it took approximately 3.5 billion years for us to evolve from plant bacteria to where we are now as humankind, which is near the very top of the evolutionary cycle of the great mental plane. There are 2 more levels to achieve before we can reach the spiritual plane, and they are the superhuman and the overhuman, but we have been stuck on the Homo sapien level for an estimated 200,000 years. You will recall the principle of rhythm, where there are pendulums of life that continually swing back and forth, affecting our emotions as well as everything else in our lives. Within that principle, there is also a pendulum that controls the evolutionary cycle. We have been riding on the upward swing of that evolution pendulum to where we are now, but if we are unable to rise to the next level of superhuman, we will not be able to avoid the backward swing, which will take us back to the early stages of our evolution. That backward swing is just about to start, and so our planet faces destruction from either a nuclear apocalypse or environmental apocalypse because of our inability to advance. This will not only affect us, but also every other living entity within the plant and animal planes, because they too have been evolving for billions of years. In their efforts to find their way back to the source of their being, the game of life is to discover who we truly are. And sadly, we may be the civilization responsible for destroying the advances already made by all the life species that now exist on our planet. They are no different to us, except that we are at different levels in the game of evolution. Life is the all, and the presence of the all is in all life. And it is through this understanding that the advanced civilizations know that we are all connected as one. This knowledge we must learn quickly if we are to save ourselves and all other life on our planet. As we know, humans are already responsible for the extinction of countless thousands of life species as we frantically clawed our way to the top of the food chain.
There was a gasp of disbelief from the studio audience, and then Storyteller continued.
So let's consider what it would be like to restart our evolution again by reviewing all the millions of lifetime experiences we have already encountered to get to where we are now. If we bypass our evolution from plants to animals and go back just several 100 million years, we may find ourselves living as bacteria inside a giant tube worm that resides 5,000 feet deep in the Pacific Ocean, next to hydrothermal vents that spew a toxic soup of volcanic chemicals lethal to most animals. We would have then evolved into many other species of life within that murky water world, where we would have been eaten by predators and become predators ourselves. Each lifetime we would have kept evolving to a higher form of life in our efforts to stay alive, until finally we left the water and began our lives on land. This then presented even greater problems, as we not only became prehistoric animals, but we were also eaten by them. And so our evolution was continually driven by our instinct for survival. We have experienced countless lifetimes within many animal species, including dinosaurs that became extinct 65 million years ago, and great apes that appeared about 14 million years ago. But life never changed, as it was always the survival of the fittest.
Odessa interrupted him by saying with sadness,
You are painting a disturbing picture.
and he replied,
It only gets worse, depending on your perception. So, do you want me to continue?
and the world replied, yes. Storyteller looked seriously at the studio camera and then said,
We appeared as the Homo erectus species a few million years ago, and they are our early ancestors to what we are now. The body form that we took on didn't offer much protection against more powerful predators, but we somehow managed to survive, to eventually evolve around 200,000 years ago, into the modern humans now known as Homo sapiens. This is where we started to rise from the plane of animal mind to the plane of human mind. But it has been a long and difficult transition to overcome the instincts of our animal mind, and you will soon understand why. In those early years spent as Homo sapiens, we still lived as naked wild animals either in dark caves or out in the elements with no shelter, and no weapons to defend ourselves with, other than sticks and rocks. We were constantly in fear of being eaten alive by other wild animals, because we were far too slow to outrun them. This is how all of us have lived through many lifetimes, too afraid to fall asleep, because of what may be lurking in the darkness of night. As men, women, and children, we were easy prey for our stronger predators. But gradually, over tens of thousands of years, we evolved behaviors that responded to the challenges of survival. We learned how to hunt and become food gatherers, and gradually we began to spread ourselves throughout the world. Our evolution was slow and full of hardships, and around 74,000 years ago we nearly became extinct due to extreme climate change, when it was believed our population was reduced to about 10,000 adults of reproductive age. Our earliest ancestral cousins, Homo erectus, had already become extinct 4,000 years prior to that, but in more recent times, our other human offshoots of Neanderthals, known as Homo neanderthalensis, became extinct around 28,000 years ago, and Homo floresiensis about 17,000 years ago. That just leaves ourselves, the modern humans known as Homo sapiens, as the sole survivors in what was once a diverse human family tree, and sadly we now find ourselves facing the prospect of extinction.
He then asked the studio audience,
After seeing the evidence of history, do any of you doubt that we can become extinct?
and the reply that was heard from millions was, no. Odessa then asked incredulously,
Are you saying that throughout the history of evolution, we have experienced being alive as many different life forms?
Yes.
He answered with a smile.
And now you know why this is such an incredible game of life that we are all playing.
But why are we playing this game?
She asked with amazement,
Considering it can be so horrifying.
and he replied with empathy.
Because we are all endeavoring to become who we truly are, and to do that we must advance through many game levels of consciousness until we transform ourselves into the magnificence of being God. It is not possible to know who we are until we come to an understanding of who we are not.
He then added with compassion,
Always remember, though, that we are living in a universe that is mental, and it is only our perception that makes it real. After billions of years of playing the greatest game of all, we have evolved to become entities that possess minds with the ability to think and rationalize. We can now change our perceptions of reality with the power of our thoughts and emotions. Every living entity who is still stuck on the lower levels of our game would give anything to be where we are now.
But if that is true,
asked the mystified Odessa.
why are we in so much trouble now?
We only need to view the history of humanity over the last 12,000 years to understand that we still have a long way to go before we can free ourselves of our animal instincts.
He replied with a deep sadness.
Brutal wars and dictatorships, murder and rape, torture and slavery, genocide and starvation, racism and terrorism, as well as drug addiction and crime, greed and family violence, are still marring the progress of our civilization. Regrettably, for thousands of years we have remained in survival mode, fighting tooth and nail even amongst ourselves to stay at the top of the food chain. In days gone by, the strongest and fittest ruled the world, and they still do today, preferring to watch fellow human beings starve and suffer than share their accumulated wealth with those less fortunate. Naturally, this is not the higher thinking of evolved human beings, and it is for that reason we are now facing the challenges of the apocalypse today. The revered masters, prophets, and messengers, whom humankind based their religions and philosophies upon, endeavored in the past to raise our consciousness from uncivilized to godlike. Sadly, the early rulers within these newly formed God organizations couldn't evade their own innate survival instinct, and so they sought power by using fear to control the masses. It did help to civilize people to some degree, but it also denied them of knowing their truth. Jesus was fully aware of this when he said, "But woe to you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you shut up the kingdom of heaven against men, or you don't enter in yourselves, neither do you allow those who are entering in to enter."
Odessa then asked, with great concern in her voice.
Surely we can't take the blame for what our ancestors did or didn't do in the past.
Storyteller smiled as he replied.
We are our ancestors. Within our many lifetimes as humans, we have known many experiences of being both man and woman, of all different colors, master and slave, murderer and murdered, killer and pacifist, torturer and tortured, priest and sinner, wealthy and poor, as well as rapist and raped, to name just a few.
Oh my goodness.
She exclaimed with shock.
Surely after living through many of those contrasting lifetimes and experiencing what I am sure would have been some horrific times, we would have learnt that there must be a better way to live.
We have been learning, and we are very close to evolving.
He answered excitedly.
Because we have also learned to tap into a different dimension, called the higher intelligence, known by many as the Holy Spirit, which is available to us all whenever we expand our minds. Through this higher creative knowledge, the standard of living for much of our world has dramatically improved over the past 100 years, and our minds are beginning to open up to a new understanding of life. As Jesus said, "I have many more things to tell you, but you cannot understand them now. But when the Holy Spirit comes, the Spirit of truth, it will guide you in all truth. When the Spirit comes, it will make all things clear to you." That time is with us now. And although the advancement of technology has played a big part in changing people's lives, it comes with a price to pay if we are not careful. Technology is fast outstripping our wisdom to use it, and as such can become the destroyer of our planet and humankind.
Odessa then said gravely,
By that I presume you mean that we can blow ourselves up or pollute our planet to extinction. But please tell us what you meant when you said that we are so close to evolving.
Storyteller looked at her with excitement in his eyes and said,
50 years ago, the baby boomer generation nearly raised humanity to the next level of the greatest game of all. But this time, they will not be doing it alone, because they will be joined by every entity who has ever lived as a human being. Every one of us who is alive today, and those who are preparing to come into our world again, are here for a reason, and that is to fulfill the prophecy of creating a kingdom of God on earth. Literally, the dead have risen and are still rising from their graves to be reborn into this special time of our evolution. The apocalypse has begun, and this event in human history is far bigger than our mortal minds can ever conceive, because we are being awakened to the truth of life by the illumined ones. Our eyes are being opened so that we can see that we are all as one, connected with every living entity, as we journey back to the source of our creation. Buddha wisely said, "He who experiences the unity of life sees his own self in all beings, and all beings in his own self, and looks on everything with an impartial eye." To have become human, we have been evolving through the cycles of evolution for the longest period on Earth, and we are now being asked the question, do we evolve to superhuman, or start our evolution all over again?
Odessa was exuberant as she called out to her studio audience.
We want to be superhuman, don't we?
And she was thrilled when she heard millions upon millions of people scream out, "Yes, yes, yes, oh my God, yes." Storyteller then said elatedly,
Every person who is alive in our world should be celebrating, because we have come through countless lifetimes to get to this point in time. As you read this book or watch the movie, you will personally feel deep within yourself a confirmation from the illumined ones that you are not only truly special, but you are also receiving the truth about life. Imagine our world without fear, pollution and war, greed and starvation, poverty, violence and crime, because surely this is what we all desire, a world of love.
he said passionately, and millions of people replied with a joyous and enlightened yes.
Everyone who is alive today has also known greatness at some time or another in one or more of their previous lives. It may surprise you to know that many of you have evolved from the greatest minds and peacemakers that humankind has ever known, and the combined inherent life wisdom and talents that we possess will become the inspiration for us all to replace our animal survival fears with the power of love. It is essential to fill our world with music, love, laughter, dance, and joy, so that we can all rise up to reveal the greatness that is within us all.
Storyteller then looked at the studio audience and outside of them before calling out,
Are you ready to do this?
and millions of TV viewers, book readers, and cinema goers screamed back with excitement, "Yes, yes, yes, oh my God, yes." It was then that they all suddenly experienced a powerful and uniting connection of their souls. The studio audience were still joyfully hugging and dancing in the aisles, as Odessa then asked Storyteller,
Music is the key to uniting us, isn't it?
and he replied,
I don't know of any greater medium that can fill our hearts with love and inspiration as music does.
She heartily agreed, as she excitedly directed everyone's attention back to the scenes being shown on their television screens. Outside the cinema, questions were still being frantically asked by the media as to why and how they all became involved in the movie, and they were flabbergasted when FemPower said,
We were surprised to find out that it was not only the actors in this film who had received the calling to help change our world, but also everyone else who has been involved with the making of this movie. Imagine how shocked we were to find out that our director, producer, investors, and every other single person in the production and wardrobe crew dreamed the same dream.
The interviewers were astonished by her words, but nowhere near as stunned as they were about to become when Zoltan said,
I know for a fact that everyone who is here in the crowd, including all of you wonderful interviewers and camera crew, have had that very same dream. Otherwise you wouldn't be here right now.
"What do you mean by that?" they asked with amazement, and he replied,
This conversation we are having right now is not only written in the book, but is also featured in the movie. All of us are characters in both the book and the movie, and the reason we are here is because we have accepted the invitation to help change our world.
Panic then set in, and they started pinching themselves to see if they were real, only to find out, much to their relief, that they still could feel pain within their bodies. Aziza was laughing as she said,
I know that millions of people, including our book characters, are watching Odessa interview Storyteller on their TVs, and the conversation we are having right now is being screened to all her viewers. This will seem completely off the planet to you, because her interview doesn't happen until tomorrow, but it is featured in the movie, in conjunction with the scene we are playing now.
How can that be? They shouted out, and Lotus replied gleefully.
Because everything is possible in a movie script, especially when we live in a mental universe.
You better believe it.
Called out the effervescent game changer.
So stop worrying, and let's all wave to the millions of cinema goers who are watching us right now. Even better still, let's dance for them, because it's great to be alive, in whatever dimension we may be. Isn't life fantastic?
Game changer screamed out, and millions of people inside and outside of the movie screamed back, yes, 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 oh my god, yes. Back in the TV studio, Odessa was laughing as she said,
I have watched this movie, and even though I have seen those scenes that include this interview, it is still hard for me to get my head around where the illusion of this movie stops and reality begins. We all know that there will be many more premiere launches of this movie in cities all around the world, which will be actually held outside of this movie and your book.
She then frowned worriedly as she said,
I am not making sense, am I? Because I feel as if I am in a scene of a movie that is just a small part of an even greater movie, where reality and illusion cross over into each other.
Storyteller chuckled, and then said humorously to her studio audience,
Why don't you all stand up and wave to the cinema goers who are watching you right now? Because you are also playing a part in this movie. Or at least I think that you are.
They laughed and cheerfully waved their hands furiously, which was reciprocated by millions of cinema goers inside and outside of the book, who waved back to them enthusiastically. He then went on to announce, with great gusto,
Welcome everyone to the greatest game of all and to the knowledge that we all exist inside a gigantic movie of life that is projected by us, through us, and for us because we are all part of the all. The game characters that we create enable us to forget who we are as we progress from the lowest vibrational realms of consciousness until eventually we ascend to the highest vibrations of consciousness to once again know ourselves as God's self. Each one of us project an exciting life movie of our own that overlaps and intertwines with other game character movies that are all screening within the grandest projection of all, the eternal universe.
He then elatedly called out,
Doesn't it excite you to know that we are the producers, directors, and star actors of our very own movies? And if we take control of writing our own scripts, we can create whatever we desire for our lives?
Millions upon millions of awakened spirits shouted back, yes, and he called out once again,
Don't you just love being in showbiz?
and they replied with an enthralled, yes, and he then smiled while shouting out,
I can't hear you.
and their electrified response was, yes, 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 oh my god, yes. Odessa was overwhelmed with excitement as she said,
This is the reason why the illumined ones are using your book in the movie, because they challenge our minds and shock us out of our illusionary perception of our world. I guess that this must be necessary to raise our consciousness high enough to elevate ourselves to the next level of the game.
She then added with a concerned look on her face,
I presume then that our planet and humankind are truly in danger of destruction, inside and outside of this movie.
and he replied,
Yes, but only inside and outside of our own world life movie, because it will not affect the overall grand universal movie, because we are just a speck within it.
He then took on a serious tone as he said,
None of us should ever doubt that our illusionary world is not real, because it is very real within the mental mind universe that we live in, and it must be protected. Unless we are happy to start our evolutionary cycle again, this would be a tragedy for all living entities on our planet, and even more so for us, because we are so close to reaching the higher game levels that take us to exciting worlds, far and beyond the wildest imaginations of our mortal minds.
Odessa then questioned him intently.
How do we know that you are telling us the truth? Because many religious people are saying that you are being blasphemous to God.
He then looked at the camera with compassion and said to the millions of viewers,
The famous Irish playwright George Bernard Shaw once said, All great truths begin as blasphemies. And this has been true throughout history, as many of our now revered messengers of God were accused of the same. I would say to you all not to take my word for it, because humankind has done this too often in the past, with grave consequences. Instead, look within yourselves to see what truth serves you best, in not only knowing who you are and who you want to be, but also which truth is more likely to bring positive changes to our world. Currently on our planet, we have many different religious beliefs and nationalities, If we choose to keep repeating our patterns of being fearful and distrusting of each other, life will continue to give us the identical results to what we are experiencing now, with even more grave consequences. On the other hand, the illumined ones, the founders of our major religions and philosophies, are compelling us to know the greatness of who we truly are and to overcome our fears with the power of love, so that we can all unite as one peaceful world. Jesus said at his crucifixion, "Look at what I can do. Look at what is true, and know that these things and more shall you also do. For have I not said ye are gods, yet you do not believe? If you cannot then believe in yourself, believe in me." The illumined one's message is simple. When we love ourselves, we are God. When we love all others, we are God. When we love all living entities, we are God. And when we love life, we are God. Because God is love, and when we love, we are connected as one. That is the consciousness required to save our world. So ask yourselves which truth serves you best.
The world erupted with applause as he continued by saying,
The late great Jimi Hendrix once said, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." His words are so true, and I am sure that his soul is alive in one of you right now.
Odessa looked like she had just been struck by an epiphany as she excitedly exclaimed,
I might be able to help people understand what is happening here. Some of you are reading Storyteller's book and watching the movie from within the pages of his book because he has written you into it, either as a moviegoer or book reader. While many of you are watching and reading from the outside of his book because you haven't been written into it, but you still get the impression that you are viewing the movie or reading his book from the inside of his book because you sense deep within yourselves that you are already integral and essential characters within the story. Now, does that make more sense for you?
she asked proudly, and millions replied with an emphatic and resounding no. She laughed and said,
I didn't think it would. So let's go back to the footage that we were watching of last night's movie premiere.
The television screens then once again showed the whole cast of the movie, standing alongside celebrities from within the music, entertainment, and business industries. A question was asked of Arif, who replied,
This movie has been produced to challenge our minds, beliefs, and perceptions of reality. It demonstrates to every person in our world that we are all actors playing different roles within an incredible movie called life. We are gamers playing the greatest game of all, which is similar but far more exciting and advanced than the greatest game on earth, which enthralled the whole world in Storyteller's book.
A very mystified Zara then anxiously asked,
How can this private movie premiere that is happening now be featured in the movie? Because we didn't see any footage of it when we watched the film not so long ago.
She was then answered by a very popular actress who played the role of Teresa, the publicist for Team Galactic.
You weren't aware of it,
She said playfully,
but you have only just watched a shorter version of the movie, and right now footage is being shot of us, which will be included in the final version. It won't be long before you will be covering a public premiere of this movie, but in that one, you will see yourselves as part of it. You are all contributing to our One World Love movement by appearing in the full-length movie, and we thank you for accepting the invitation from the Illumined Ones to help us create this illusion within an illusion.
We are still confused,
replied an exasperated Zara.
because we have all read about this private premiere in Storyteller's book, but none of us imagined that it would actually take place in real life outside of his book because we thought it was just a part of the story. I must be losing my mind because it looks as if we have all been pre-written into his book.
The famous actress who starred as Lotus wisely replied,
You have no reason to be alarmed, because everyone who has ever dreamed of a better world are writing themselves into this book. They may recognize their character as a journalist, movie critic, cinemagoer, book reader, songwriter, pop star, politician, or someone who is celebrating our love movement by dancing and singing in the streets. Because of the great passion and belief written into Storyteller's book, his story is manifesting itself within the mental universe, and millions of people are joining him to play the greatest game of all. We are all storytellers, and as we act out our character roles of who we want to be in our life stories, we invite others to come and play with us. Our capabilities are limitless, as we explore the fantastic mental universe projected by the infinite mind of the All. It is important to understand the power and excitement of the illusions that are being projected by our minds as we continue to play the greatest game of all. Just as in the book and the movie, what our mind perceives as real isn't necessarily real, because we live in a mental universe, but for all intents and purposes, it is as real as you believe it is.
The well-known actor who played the role of Kamal Power then jumped in and said,
We must always remember that we are only playing a game, otherwise illusion may appear as a dangerous reality, and as you may recall, our team nearly lost our lives in the greatest game on Earth. Our minds forgot that we were only playing a game, and as such our hearts may have stopped beating because of the intense fear we were experiencing, from what was after all, only an illusion projected from the game.
A horrified journalist then yelled out,
Surely that was just part of the story, but you were making it sound like you could have actually lost your lives in this movie.
The actor playing Annihilator quickly answered,
This movie became incredibly dangerous for us all, because it presented many life and death challenges. Our minds began to totally believe that not only were our movie characters real, but the scenes in the movie were actually happening. It was as if we were living in a world within another world, and we didn't know how to escape.
Still in his character mode, Arif held his hands aloft to calm their frenzied questioning, and he said with deep passion,
This movie has been created to help us all understand that we are playing character roles in the greatest game of all. If we are to progress in this evolutionary game of life, we must first remember the greatness of who we truly are, and then replace our illusionary fears with the most powerful energy of all, love. Thankfully, our civilization has now evolved far enough for us to be given the truth about our existence. We are all actors playing out our chosen character roles in a movie that is eternal and limitless. The Illumined Ones have used Storyteller's book in this movie to warn us of the imminent danger that our planet is facing, and to give us the wisdom to help us overcome the final obstacle of disunity. That stops us advancing in this fantastic game of life. You may have noticed that many of us have chosen to stay in our movie character roles to help promote our One World Love movement, which has now become a reality in the dimension outside of Storyteller's book in this movie.
Deepak then addressed the media with excitement.
Our real names were never revealed in his book, because Storyteller wanted people to discover which actors were following their destiny when they came to watch the movie. In truth, we are neither our perceived life identities or our movie identities, because we are only actors in both roles as all of you are in your own life roles. You would have recognized two of the world's most successful and philanthropic businessmen playing the roles of game founders, Stephen Bright and Graham Charlton. They too were called to help humankind to rise to the next level of consciousness in the greatest game of all, and we are grateful to have them play a part in the movie.
Zoltan then jumped in to say,
Many aspects of Storyteller's book and this movie are now perceived as reality in our mind world, which clearly demonstrates how the movie projection in our mental universe operates through the imaginations and beliefs of our minds. Further proof of this are the inventions that we now enjoy in life, that were once only ideas existing within the imagination and books of science fiction writers. Our One World Love movement is real, and is now being generously funded by the music and movie industries in conjunction with major global companies, international governments, philanthropists, and most importantly the people of our world. Even more fantastic is that many different churches and religions are now putting their resources and knowledge behind us as they come to recognize the truth of life within their scriptures. We are truly becoming worldians, united by love for each other.
The TV viewers then crossed back to the television studio, where Odessa was excitedly saying to Storyteller,
I was amazed by the atmosphere outside the cinema, which was electrified by tens of thousands of people singing and dancing in the streets. What was even more amazing was the look on the media's faces when they found out that they were going to be featured in the finished movie. They would have already read about this movie premiere in your book, but must have thought that it had been left out of the movie. Their minds were blown away when they realized that they were written into your story.
She then started laughing uncontrollably, as she said,
They must have all gone home and immediately picked up your book to read the chapter that they had just helped you to write.
He joined in with her humor by saying,
They will be even more shocked when they read that you made a joke about their surprised looks, because don't forget that this interview is written in my book.
She mocked a horrified expression, and then replied with a chuckle,
I've given up trying to work out if we are inside or outside of your book, but I truly would like to know for the benefit of the Team Galactic book characters, whether they do actually exist outside of the pages of your book.
Back in the private lounge of their San Francisco hotel, Team Galactic were still watching the TV interview, and they now all hurriedly came together for reassurance, as they nervously prepared themselves to hear his answer. Storyteller gave a huge grin as he said,
Every single character in my book is real, because I have shared a part of my soul with all of them. As for Team Galactic and their management team, they are alive and well inside and outside of my book. They have obviously become so obsessed in becoming their book characters that they have forgotten that they are only actors, playing out the roles I have written for them in the story. You can see how easy it is for us all to become who we think we are, especially when following a script written for us by other people.
Suddenly, everyone was shocked as a chant of remember, remember, remember was taken up by millions of cinema goers, book readers, and TV viewers. Game Changer had suddenly jumped up and started dancing to the song in their private hotel lounge, as he said excitedly to the others,
"Oh wow, they have just helped us to remember that we do exist outside of this book. We must have all forgotten that we are professional actors following character scripts written by storyteller. Isn't it fantastic, though, that millions of people have cared enough to help us remember?"
It is wonderful,
replied Lotus, as she joined in with the relief that they were all feeling.
Just imagine how our world would change if we could all help each other to remember the absolute truth of who we are. It would be great if we kept reminding each other that we are the all playing the greatest game of all through our imaginary game characters.
Fempower was ecstatic as she said,
I certainly hope we do, because I can think of nothing better than progressing to new and exciting levels in this game. My mind boggles to think what fantastic adventures await us all. Don't you all agree?
To their surprise, they then heard applause and a thunderous, "Yes, yes, yes, oh my god, yes," which prompted Zoltan to shock everyone by saying,
I've just realized that cinemagoers are watching us right now, because whatever is in Storyteller's book is being projected as a scene within the movie.
Surely not.
exclaimed Teresa. The investigative and journalistic mind of Aziza quickly responded by saying,
There's only one way to find out.
so she called out enthusiastically.
Can all of you beautiful people out there see us?
The response was an ear-shattering, yes. Game Changer, unable to contain himself any longer, screamed out,
"I just want to make sure you can all see me on your cinema screens. So will the hidden camera that is filming us please zoom in on my face?"
A close-up of his face was then emblazoned across cinema screens all around the world, as he smiled his largest, heartwarming grin. His eyes then roamed mischievously from side to side around the theaters, as he pointed to people as he said,
"I can see you. I can see you as well. I can also see you, and those who are trying to hide. Hey, you two at the back, cut that out and save it for a more appropriate time. Can't you see we're busy here trying to save our planet?"
The world was immediately united with laughter, as he then called out,
"I reckon our planet would be a better place if we all lived life as if it was our last day. Dream big, have fun, and love everyone. Don't you all agree?"
"Yes, yes, yes, oh my god, yes," was their unanimous response, and they all stood up to cheer him, as he mimed and danced with wild abandonment,